Welcome to Who Let the Dogs Out, the podcast designed to help you enjoy life with your best friend without all the frustrations. Join us each week as we help families across the country do just that. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined by my co-host,
Sally.
And if you're back, you've listened to the 1 year anniversary episode, which we just put out last week, midweek, and Sally is back for another episode.
Yep.
Okay, so this is going to be a little different. We already recorded the intro to the show that we just did, but we went way off topic. So we had a Q&A planned out with a bunch of great questions, which we're still going to do an episode on.
We need to.
Yeah, we do. But the problem is that we got way off guard. Thanks to me, about dog's memory, dog telepathy, what is the dog's memory actually like, how much do we actually understand about the dog's brain, things like that. And so we got way off topic. And so,
It was so good.
yeah, it was. And it's a really interesting show. But yeah, we talked about dog's memory. How long is their memory? Do they have short-term, long-term memory? Dogs communicating with their mind, dogs' routines and like how they get plugged into that. Pregnant dogs, and do pregnant memories, memories of pregnant dogs pass on to their puppies? Like how do like puppies have bad dreams? Things like that. So we explore all that on the show, and it's really fun. And I mean, I definitely walked away with more questions than answers, but that's what we actually talked about on the show. We did answer one question about why dogs like bully dogs for, toys and bones and stuff like that, right? And why when one dog gets something, the other one gets it. That's what we actually did answer on the show. That was from the original Q&A that we were going to do. So with that being said, we're going to layer this over the intro because we talked about some other fun stuff that we've been up to as well. So anyway, so that's the intro. That's what we actually talked about. So with that being said, this is the show. For those of you that are new listeners, you don't know me, my name's Corey. I'm the owner of Wonder Dog Training. Started the first day of 2018. We've helped thousands of dogs and thousands of families across multiple cities and multiple states. And our goal is to help people enjoy life with their best friend without all the frustrations. And I think we do a decent job of that.
We do an excellent job of that.
Yeah, you are.
I'm Sally. I've actually worked for Wonder Dog now for 6 years.
6 years.
6 years.
Yep, she had her 6-year anniversary last week.
Yeah, the 14th. No, 16th. Oh my gosh, can't remember. It's either one of those dates.
Yeah.
But either way, I do the calls and the admin and the
Payroll.
podcast and the payroll.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm in the background.
And the foreground.
I'm the foreground, actually. What am I talking about? I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, you're on the.
Yeah.
You say it, everybody. I'm in the background.
I'm in the
literally
background.
on the internet. Everybody
Yeah.
knows who you are. Yeah, it is amazing how many bones Mia has gotten out since she's just been laying there. I just noticed. That's why I was looking at her whenever she was walking by. She's got her little box over there, and she's probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She's got 10 bones out.
Yeah.
10 of them.
Can you remember when Sully came and he had one of her bones? And as soon as he moved, she went and grabbed it and put it back in her toy box.
I think that
That's
lines
gonna
up
be
with
on
question
this
number one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the question? Hit it.
Okay. Do you not want to hear about Sully's latest?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Oh, people, this dog. What do I say? It's a good job. He's cute. So, you know how Sully's a bit obsessed with stones and pebbles?
Right.
And he carries them in his mouth and he brings them, puts them on his bed, and he's got his own little collection. He came in with...
I totally forgot about that.
He came in with this, what looked to be a stone.
Yeah.
And it was dirty and greenish icky looking.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck have you got now? So he knows that if he comes near me, I'm going to take it off him. So he was like, doing it. It was a turtle.
Oh,
It was a baby teeny tiny
I thought you were going to say
turtle.
a frog.
No, it was a baby.
Luckily for the turtle, he's got a soft mouth.
I'm like, dude, that should be with its mom. It was so tiny.
So do you have a pet turtle now?
No, we went and put it back where he'd found it. Because I now know if
That would have been so funny if you would have kept it, just so you just carried around his little turtle friend.
I'm just so glad he didn't start tossing it in the air and grab. Because oh my god!
Do you remember when Mia and Lenny found the baby bunnies in your backyard? Mm-hmm. That was sad.
Yeah.
That was sad. We signed up a family the other day, and they've got a little 5-month-old British lab puppy, and their dog found a baby bunny nest. And I can't remember if they said their dog killed him or not, or just found him. But I remembered I was telling them a story about how Mia and Lenny found him. Now, they both kept going outside at different times. They just go like out of sight, and I couldn't see them. So I was finally like, what are they looking at? And they found a baby bunny nest, and I think they had killed one. And then I just put a bunch of brooms in front of the baby bunny nest because I was like, Mia will definitely not go over there if there's brooms over there.
Like a broom.
Does not like the broom.
She
Does not like the broom at all. Doesn't at all. So,
So we've got turtles that are coming under the fence.
Yeah.
So he was down there the other day, bark, 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 bark. Could not get his attention for nothing. And then he kept like hopping up on his front legs and like pounding. So I sent Zach, I'm like, please go check out what he's doing. And it must have been the mother turtle because Zach said it was like huge. Well, he can't get that in his mouth, can he? So he's just terrorizing it.
Could you imagine?
If he came in with that in his mouth. Oh, yeah.
Or got his like a little lip bit or something. He's like, Mom,
yeah,
help. Yeah. Well, I would wait till the next episode to say like what me and Mia have been up to, but then it'd be like 2 weeks after Easter. But on Easter Sunday, we went to church and then lunch with the family or whatnot, and then afterwards we went to Shelby Forest and just like went and like set up like a little like campsite in the woods and just like hung out in the woods for a while. And it's so nice. Literally couldn't hear any noises, nothing. Nice. It was just so peaceful. And the weather was perfect. There's no mosquitoes out yet. The sun was just shining through. The weather was like perfect. It's like God set the thermos. I mean, it was amazing outside. Mm-hmm. But one thing. When you said the turtle thing, it made me think about how much nature's in your backyard. And when you had that snake in the pool many years ago, when the pool is like disgusting, and I was walking around on like the empty liner, and I stepped on a snake that was underneath the liner.
Lived under the liner.
Still traumatic. Anyways, so I was driving in Shelby Forest, and we just had terrible rain a couple weeks ago, and so the river still flooded apparently. Mm-hmm. And so I was wondering why all the roads were closed in Shelby Forest, because I was going to go to the river and then I was going to like backtrack and like go find a place to hang out in the woods. Anyways, so there's a road closure sign, and I'm like, well, I'll just drive around it. So I drove around it, and I'm driving down the road, and then the water's like covering the road. So I was like, oh, that must be why the road's closed. Duh, dummy. Yeah. Anyways, in the middle of the road, there's just a snake going in the middle of the road. And I pulled up right next to it, and I felt safe because I'm in the truck. But I hate snakes. Hate snakes. Like, you want to see me scream? Like, that's it. Like, that's me. I'm a huge grown man. I will scream and run away. Like, I do not like snakes at all. And anyways, so I just drove past, like up to it though, and I just watched it like slither away in the woods. And it had like one of those like real like triangle heads, like clearly poisonous or whatnot. Very scary. Very scary. That's the story.
Now that would be more of a fear for me, that Sully brings in a snake rather than a turtle.
I saw this video of this Doberman last week. Oh, look, he'll let the dogs out.
Oh,
yeah. I saw this video last week online, and it was this guy. He's like, he's walking in like this road. Like the grass is real tall, but there's this like mowed row that he's walking on or whatnot, and there's a snake in the middle of it. And he's like, and his dog's way out ahead of him, and he's like, come here, boy, I can't walk past this till you get it. And it's this huge Doberman, huge, runs up to the snake, grabs it, starts shaking it, and just throws it in the air, like real far in the air, and like literally like real far. And I was like, but the dog just attacked it and just threw it. And I was like, that is insane. I would never in my life. And if Mia bit a snake and it didn't bite her and hurt her, I'd probably whoop her. I'd be like, don't ever do that again. Do not do that. We do not mess with snakes around here.
Yeah. Hopefully Sully doesn't bring it.
Have I ever told you the story about whenever we were running at Shelby Farms and we ran like past the snake or whatnot? I probably told you. I don't know if I've told it on air. But one time we're running the back roads of Shelby Farms. I had this idea in my head. I'm like, I want to run 10 miles. I'd never run double digits consecutively before. You remember? Yeah. And so
your idea.
We're running the back roads of Shelby Farms. And I've got basically just like a pair of shorts on. I've got like a little waistband on that's got my phone in it. And that's it. And I'm carrying Mia's Chuck It ball launcher in my hand, and we're running this dirt road. Anyways, she is running, and then I look down, and there's a snake like I'm about to run right over it. And I leap as high and as far as I've ever leaped in my entire life. And Mia's tennis ball somehow goes missing out of the Chuck It. And then I turn around and the snake's gone. And Mia's tennis ball somehow missing, and she would normally go looking for it. And I'm like, do not. And so we just keep going. I'm like, I had to stop running. I'm like, my heart. I like it's scary. Hate snakes. Hate them.
Me too.
All right, we got to get moving on these questions because I've got somebody coming in 30 minutes to meet me.
Let's go
for a transformation session.
So going back to what we were saying about Mia and all of her toys, why does my dog want the toy that my other dog has?
Great question.
He then bullies him, so he gives it up, and then he takes it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, I would say dogs and toddlers are very similar. And so, like toddlers, if you've ever been around them, you know that there can be a whole room full of toys. And if you got two toddlers in there, as soon as one goes and gets a toy, the other one immediately wants it. That's exactly how it goes. Dogs are no different. So you can have a whole, all of our clients have toy boxes for their dogs. And so the one dog goes and gets a toy, the other one wants it, they go take it from them. And that's just like part of life. Now, if you don't like that, you could intercede on the dog's behalf. I don't know if that's the right word, but you could, say like, don't do that basically, and say like, no, get your toy. But like, I think the problem with it though is like, we as humans will apply our human emotions to it. And so it'll be like, oh, we don't like that, or oh, that's not fair, or whatever it is. And it's like dogs, I don't think they feel that same way. So it's like if your dog, like your older dog gets his toy taken, then he just goes laying down and he's like, oh, this is part of life. Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's annoying, sure. But like we apply kind of our human emotions to it. I just don't know if that's the same thing. Yeah. Okay, this is something, actually, we might just have to skip the questions and just talk about this. Tell me if you've ever heard this before. Dogs have short-term memory. Have you ever heard that?
I don't think they have. No, I've never heard that.
Okay, I grew up my whole life hearing that. Now I know that dogs will clearly learn stuff. I mean, they can learn stuff, but like I've always been told like they're simple association creatures, and like it's like 1 + 1 = 2. Their brains are like a calculator, right? And they don't really have like long-term memories.
Okay.
Well, okay. So the other day, and I don't necessarily have an opinion. I mean, I know they clearly like believe stuff, and I think like they love us and come like through associations to get to know us and love us and know our sense and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't like know like, oh, if like you, like how good is their memory, right? So the other day, it's like 11 o'clock on a Sunday. No, it's like 10 o'clock. I'm craving a burger. So I go to Whataburger, which is open 24 hours. By the way, I was in the line 45 minutes. Probably never going on a Sunday night ever again because it's always slow. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow, but it's more often than not it's slow. I was in the line literally 45 minutes. Anyways, so I put 2 pig ears on Mia's bed right before we left because I was like, when I get home, I'm going to have a snack, so I want her to have a snack, right? That's me applying my human emotions to my dog, right? So the exact thing I'm talking about. So I, stupid. Anyways, so I put 2 pig ears on her bed and I show them to her and she's about to get them. I'm like, no, we're about to go. So she's like, oh, okay, we're going. So then we leave. We get back from Whataburger. And literally, and so we're gone at this point probably about an hour because we drove to it and then from, and I was in the line for like 45, 50 minutes. So we've been gone probably about an hour. As soon as I open the door, she zooms in the house, runs to the back of the room, goes to her dog bed, and immediately starts munching on those. And like, how did she know? If she forgot, like she has short-term memory, she would have been like, my assumption is she would have like wandered in the house, been like, oh, cool, we got Whataburger, and like walked with me, like she follows me around the house, like walked me into the kitchen, got the plate out, stuff like that. And then we would have been in the bedroom and then she would have been like, oh, hey, there's pig ears here.
There's pig ears in my bed.
And so, but we were gone an hour.
Yeah.
It really kind of blew my mind a little bit, honestly, because I was like, okay, that's... Sure. Like I've done this before where I'll like set her dinner down and then I'm like, you got to go potty first before you eat your dinner. So then we go outside for a pee or something. And then as soon as we come in, she runs back in, but that's like a few minutes max.
Yeah.
This was like over an hour being gone and she literally ran straight to the dog bed to go eat the pig ears. What do you think about that?
I've never thought that they've got short-term memory anyway.
But definitely not long-term memory. Like you could tell me something's coming up in an hour and I'd be like, oh, okay, got it. Yeah, I remember that. I wouldn't, but you get the idea.
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't, but you get the idea. But like a dog, like remembering that there's pig ears there. Because like you ever like, I don't know, the end of the day, it's like your, like your favorite TV show or something. And you're like ready to go watch your favorite show or something like that. And then it's like the end of the day and it's like, awesome. Like, yeah, I'll watch. And like you're excited to go home. She was excited.
If they've got short-term memory, how do they maintain knowing the routine? Because my 2 pester me, even Sully.
Okay, this is from ChatGPT, which is always right.
Oh.
That's a joke.
Okay.
All right. Do dogs have short-term memory? Yes, dogs do have short-term memory, but it's quite different from ours. Their short-term memory typically lasts about 2 minutes or less for most things, especially things that aren't important or emotionally charged. For example, if you scold your dog for something they did a few minutes ago, like chewing a shoe, they likely won't connect your reaction to their action. I don't know about that. Let's just stick with the first paragraph. I'm not going to argue with ChatGPT about dog training. I do think timing's important. I think you should correct and reward your dog in a timely manner, but like I don't think 2 minutes is like that's not too long to say like, hey, don't chew my shoes. That's not nice. But yes, dogs do have short-term memory, but it's quite different from ours. A short-term memory typically lasts about 2 minutes or less for most things, especially things that aren't important or emotionally charged. I guess you could argue pig ears is emotionally charged because he gets excited. She's like, oh my God, it's pig ears. You know, she gets excited. So,
but would she come in the door and be able to smell pig ears?
I thought that too, but it's Sunday night and I had the AC down real low, and it was like to keep it that low, it had to be blowing the whole time. So that would have like dispersed the scent throughout the house. Yeah. I mean, through all the training I've done with search and rescue and drug detection and stuff like that, like I've got a pretty decent understanding about like how odor moves through rooms and stuff like that. And so it would have been like very dispersed by that point. And it's not a short, like, but then also too, the kitchen to the bedroom is like, and then to the thing is like, I don't know, I'm not really great with distance, but it's like a pretty like short walk, right? But then to go in through the living room, there would have been no, I mean, unless the odor was blown, like because of the AC, there would have been no odor there because I didn't walk the pig ears into the living room. I walked them straight from the kitchen to the bedroom to the dog bed. And then I walked out of the room, back out, and then we were gone an hour, came back and had to walk through the living room. And so what I'm saying, using this typically lasts about 2 minutes or less for most things. That's the key word.
Most things.
She would have walked in, wandered around. We would have walked to the kitchen, then back to the bedroom where I was going to eat my food. And then she would have been like, oh, hey, there's pig ears there. That's awesome. You know, it's like a dog stumbling upon a treat. It's like, because like the trainers will drop treats sometimes and like she'll find them and be like, oh, hey, there's a treat. Yeah. That's how I would have assumed it would have gone, and how it actually went. And she was like, ran straight for him. That's what I'm saying the big difference is, basically.
Yeah. Wow.
But I've heard my whole life. Not my whole life, but as a kid, for sure, like dogs have short-term memory. They don't remember stuff. And you could argue, well, and then once again, though, commands are different because it's a trained behavior over time, right? So it's like you sit. Yeah. You're doing it over and over and over again to where the word is paired with the butt going down and hitting the ground, right? So that's like a very different thing than just short-term, like than just memory itself.
And just a bit of a tangent as well. I don't know where I saw it, but there's a lady talking to her dog about sit, and it sits without the sit command with her tone of voice. So she can go like, oh, Whataburger, and the dog would sit. Or she'd go.
My question is, what is she doing with her body? Because there's likely that she's giving the dog a cue that your untrained eye is not looking for, but the dog picks up on.
Okay.
There's a story.
Because it doesn't show you her.
Yeah.
You just hear a voice.
Yeah.
And this dog just sits at any word in this particular how she puts it.
But if she keeps
over.
doing that over and over again, the dog knows that if I sit enough, I'm going to get rewarded. It's a training thing. That's not it. I remember one time, though, there's this book that I read for dog training school. It's called Accelerated Learning. I forget the author's name. And Accelerated is EXCEL, Accelerated Learning. And there's a story in there about like this horse, and I can't remember the exact thing, but it was like this horse would like lift its foot up or something like that. Like I don't remember the exact story, but basically the moral of the story was like, and they were like maybe winning money or like betting people that he could get the dog, like the horse to do it or something like that. But what he was secretly doing is he was doing this like real subtle motion where he'd like lower his glass or like lift his hat up or like say something, or maybe not say something, but like something, a body cue that he was giving the horse to do the thing that the people didn't pick up on, but the horse picked up on. Yeah. And so my theory would be like, oh, if there's a dog just in the room and every time it hears a word, it just knows like, Whataburger, sit, microphone, sit, you know, and then just any word, it's like, yeah, I'll just drop my butt to the ground. Yeah, duh. Mm-hmm. So that's where my head goes.
That's where your head goes.
Rather than like, this dog's just like a genius or something. Yeah, it's probably more of like a trained, learned behavior over time than anything else.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to memory. So
what?
How do they maintain routine then if they don't have muscle memory?
Okay, this is another one. We're gonna have to change the title. I'm gonna have to do the intro for this podcast and be like, because we're not gonna get to the questions. Yeah, because we're gonna have to wrap up in like 8 minutes because we got a transformation session coming in. Okay, so This is what I asked ChatGPT the exact same question, same words. Do dogs have short-term memory? Yes, dogs do have short-term memory, but it's quite different from our human short-term memory. In general, short-term memory in dogs lasts around 2 minutes or less, especially for non-rewarded or non-reinforced events. For example, if a dog does something like knock over a trash can and it isn't corrected or rewarded right away, it likely won't remember it clearly happened. It won't remember it clearly after a couple minutes. That is also untrue. Maybe it's just for my own dog. Maybe I just have a genius baby. I don't know. But
genius, baby.
Okay, but check this out. And this is common for a lot of families, and I hear this a lot. Mia, and I'm admission here, I'm admitting my sins here. Mm-hmm. Mia belongs to a dog trainer. She's 9 years old. She's my baby. Every now and then, she knocks the trash can over. Every now and then, if I'm not home, she'll get a wrapper off the counter. She'll chew something up. Not chew something up, but like typically regarding foodstuffs. So like she'll get like the spatula off the counter or something like that. She'll knock over the trash can. And she only does it when I'm not home long periods of time. And it doesn't happen. As she's gotten older, it's happened more often. Anyways, that's enough. Whatever. I've admitted my sins now. So here's the deal. I walk in, she immediately gets off the couch, puts her ears back and walks up to me like, even if I'm like, hey, baby, how are you? You know, excited and stuff. She immediately, now if she had not sinned and knocked over the trash can, she's going to be like, oh my God, he's so excited, jumping and, and stuff like that. Yeah, I let my dog jump. I don't care. Anyways, next thing.
We're not here to judge.
Yeah. We listen and we don't judge. Anyways, so the next thing is she will just get off the couch, like slink off the couch with her ears down and walk up to me.
She's admitting to you that she's 100%. Done something before you even know she's done it.
Before she tells me with her body and her ears that she's done something bad before I actually see the damage. If it's the trash knocked over, clear, I walk in and I'm like, well, thank you, appreciate it. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if we as humans have a good enough understanding of how the dog's brain actually works. We don't even know how our own brains work. How would we know how dogs' brains work? Mm-hmm. I do think that there are some things that we know. Like the next line of this was like, but after the trash can thing, however, dogs excel in associative memory, which would be things like training. Leash equals walk, or walk equals, hey, we're going outside. That's why the dog gets so excited. Or ride equals we're going on a car ride, or doorbell equals stranger, or there's somebody at the door that hasn't been here previously or for a long time, or whatever it is. They can also form long-term memories, especially tied to emotions, routines, or repeated training. We've talked about that with her a lot too. Like she'll lay down in the morning, and as soon as I pour the coffee, like I'm doing my whole morning routine. As soon as I pour the coffee in the cup, she's standing up. She's right next to me. She's like, we're about to go to the office.
We're about to go.
Exactly. So that is what I'm saying. I don't think we have a good enough understanding how the dog's brain actually works to say, oh, they have short-term memory or long-term memory or whatnot. Another question that would be raised too, I can't believe how off topic we are from this, but another question that should be asked too is, well, how do dogs have memories before they even have memories? We've all seen a 6 or 8 week old puppy having a bad dream. How do you have bad dreams?
Yeah.
You don't have bad experiences yet.
Yeah.
How are you and running in your sleep? Nothing's happened to you. Yeah. You've never met a big dog. You've never been in a field. You've never been attacked. You've never been scolded. You've never been yelled at. What are you upset?
Trauma of being in the womb with all those other puppies.
Exactly. I don't even know.
I've got no space. I was suffocating.
Hear me out. Theorizing here. You know how there's like, clearly DNA, right? So DNA passes on. And so like, and you could, I'm going to go with the angle of like generational, like curses or sins or something like that. Where like, if you like, you've got a family that's like alcoholic, like your child would maybe be more predisposed to that or something. And I don't even know if that's proven. I'm just using like common stuff that people say.
Yeah.
But what if maybe those memories pass on from the mom to the puppies or something like that? Because there is an argument to say that or maybe what happens to the mom while pregnant will affect the child. Because I think that's true for humans too. Like if you're stressed during human pregnancy, I'm not going to say you're going to have a stressed or anxious baby or something, but that might predispose your baby to conditions possibly. I don't know. Like
you can have a very restless baby.
Sure, exactly. Okay. So what if what happens to the mom passes through the puppies during the pregnancy? And then I always tell people too, like, okay, let's say she had like if the mom has stressful pregnancy, she's probably going to have stressful like gestation, which I'm thinking using that word right, which would be like feeding the puppies, right? But I always tell people like if your mom, like if you've got a puppy and it's 12 weeks old and it's already scared of people and it's had no bad experiences, it's not your fault. It's like nature versus nurture. This is nature. Now we have to nurture the dog to realize like, hey, the world's not bad, right? Now there could be a mix. Like you might accidentally like mess it up. And this is what we're going to talk about on the Fearful Dog episode. You're going to have to rent a van to do that one because that's going to be a long one. It'll be a marathon. Anyways, but maybe they're remembering something that the mom remembered during her pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's so much about the brain and stuff that we don't know for humans. But now that, I mean, just in this context, dogs. But even for humans, there's so much that we don't know. There's so much we don't know.
Yeah.
And we think like...
Brains are really clever. They rewire themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, we think we like know everything. And like we absolutely do not.
We do
absolutely do not.
Tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. And so anyways, all that being said, that, I mean, it just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that we know enough to like say, yeah, they have short-term memory. I like, do they have long-term memory? Like, maybe we should just do our own science experiment.
Maybe we should.
So my hypothesis would be that maybe Mia could remember something after 4 hours. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I make her like real hungry or something like that. So I feed her tonight, but then tomorrow she gets her dinner every day, right? Yeah, she gets her dinner every day or something like that. And then tomorrow, what we do is we have her, if I'm going to get home, I don't know what time I'm going to get home tomorrow, but maybe if I get home at 6, when I go home on my lunch break, I'll put pig ears out. And then we see how excited she is when we get home.
When she gets home. That'd be a good one.
Because that would kind of mimic the first one that started this whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was just kind of blown away by the whole thing. I was blown away by the whole thing. Yeah.
I'm amazed by my two every day because...
Not that impressive. She's easily impressed is what I was trying to...
impressed.
I've got the smartest dogs in the world.
No, Lenny is not the smartest dog in the world.
Talk about a lump.
But he's Forrest Gump. But no, Sully will come and do his Scooby talking to me while I'm working. And it's always at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's different to, I need to go out.
Yeah.
Or it lets me know when it's routine going out for a walk.
Yeah.
But his latest one is, I also have pig ears.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And it seems to be that they get a pig ear treat at the same time. And I don't know whether I initiated it or they initiated it.
Right.
But I can be working. I can be in the middle of a call.
Yeah.
And he comes from nowhere and starts going,
yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument to say that dogs have a biological clock. Like they know when they get something or whatnot. That's easy. There's definitely some sort of biological clock that but also too, like one thing that I've been this is something I've been fascinated with, but recently I've been listening to this podcast called the Telepathy Tapes, and it's about how nonverbal kids with autism can, not everyone can, but the ones that she's interviewed on the show, or not interviewed, but researched on her documentary show, whatever it is, use telepathy to communicate with their parent or a teacher or a counselor or something like that, and they literally talk with their brains. It's fascinating. Did you listen to it?
No, but I'm going to because you keep telling me about it.
One of the episodes is about dog telepathy, though, and telepathy in dogs. And that blew me away. What is Mia doing? Mia, come here. That blew me away. And so, but the example she uses is like your dog knowing when you're going to get home before you actually get home, right? So they set up these cameras in these people's houses with the dogs and stuff. And the owner's within a 5 miles of the house or something like that. The dog's already up and at the door before the owner gets there and stuff. And I've experienced that with Mia before where she's at the door and I'm I didn't lock the car. It didn't honk. So there's no way she heard me. My car's, I don't know, 30 yards away from
I was going to say, your car's not as though you've gone
right
up
in
the driveway.
Yeah, no, I live in an apartment.
Yeah.
And then she's just been waiting on me at the door. And I'll hear her whining before I even click the little keypad to unlock the door. I hear her whining behind the door. And I'm there's no way she would have known. And so it's that once again, that opens up the conversation of we don't know what they know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard the theory of that it's the human smell that's getting weaker and weaker. Yeah. And then they know when it gets to a certain point that humans coming back.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. It's funner to think that it's telepathy, though. It's definitely a lot funner to think that it's telepathy.
I think so. I don't think it's got anything to do with the smell neither.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it... How would she smell me through the door?
But also, how on different days with different temperatures and different...
100%.
smells come and go quicker or slower, don't they? So how can that be a factor?
But the front door is sealed. It'd be different if it was I was walking to the bedroom or whatnot, and there's a big gap under the door. The AC's going. It's probably shooting odor underneath and stuff, and she can still smell if I'm home or not. That'd be a different thing. The front door is a sealed door.
Yeah.
So if she's whining before I even click the thing that goes boop, before I'm about to type the keypad in, it's like, how does she know that?
It's fascinating.
Anyways, more questions than answers on this one.
Got you thinking.
Yeah. Well, what do you think? How about that? Do you have any examples of this? What do you think? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested to hear. We've got to reshoot the intro for this show before we wrap the show up. So we are going to edit that. We were just saying on the 1 year episode, we don't ever edit our shows, but we can't run the intro that we have.
We really went off.
We went off big time. So this one actually will be edited and it'll be in the intro. So anyways, we're about to shoot the intro again. So if you watched this far and you stuck with us, thank you so much. I hope you, like I said, comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on memory, dog's memory, dog telepathy. If you've got any interesting experience with your dog that would maybe, I don't know, shine some light on this, let us know. That'd be great. Anyways, that being said, thank you so much. We really appreciate you viewing, watching, subscribing, all that kind of stuff. If you like the show, it made you think, made you laugh, something like that, share the show with a friend. Subscribe to the show. If you're on Spotify or Apple, rate the show, please. That'd be very helpful. Helps us boost us up in the algorithm. And I think that's pretty much it.
I think so.
All right. We're going to reshoot the intro and we'll see y'all on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
All right.